In the quiet of the night,
Ladies,
I hear a whisper in the wires.
gentlemen, welcome to the Guitar Podcast.
Every chord remembers you.
Every chord remembers you.
Note becomes a name.
Every note becomes a name.
Reaching through the frequencies, but nothing
Ooh,
sounds the
baby.
same.
Do you feel it? Do you feel the electric guitar in your heart? The amp on the stage catching fire, the crowd going wild, the smoke effects and lasers. Do you feel it in your heart? Or do you go through life like everybody else, not knowing why, not knowing the purpose why? Ladies, gentlemen, I need you to buckle up. Because we're about to begin the most athletic guitar stream ever. And for that, start the clock.
The world is made of silver strings and unresolved desires. I chase the tone that once was yours through broken amplifiers. You fade into the reverb, but I still can't let it win. I hear you in the distance, pulling me again. I feel the air around me tremble like a truth I can't let go. A spark inside the silence calling me back home. I'm falling through the echoes where the shadows start to glow. And every sound you leave behind is the one I can't outgrow. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, your voice is in the undertow. I'm rising, but I'm sinking in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo.
Ooh, baby.
Hold me in the static,
Hold me
guide me through the
in the
dark.
static.
Every fading memory still reaches for my heart. I'm falling through the echoes, still searching for your glow. And every wave that crashes in reminds me where to go. Oh, Mr. Sorenzo, I'm lost inside your overflow. I'm standing, but I'm drifting in the echoes. Echoes of Sorenzo.
Oh, baby. Ladies, gentlemen, I need you to buckle up, because we're about to begin the most athletic guitar podcast ever.
Sparks in my eyes, fingers on the fretboard, volume high. I'm the glitch in the system you cannot find. Crowds buzzing like a circuit overload. One strum and the whole damn room explodes. Heads are buzzing from the head banging, mosh pit flows. But I'm just getting started. Watch me flow. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Ooh, baby, baby. Electric in my veins, supercharged, but I'm still unchained. Screw classical players, let them fade. 'Cause I set the stage on fire. Shredding through the chaos like a neon blade. Boss mode riffs in a pixel arcade. Smoke rising from the amp on stage. I get you all far higher. Can you feel it? Static rising, synthesizing on my
Ladies.
Watch me break the meter. Take it deeper. Turn it up. Turn it up.
Turn it up! Woo! I mean, my God! My ladies, gentlemen, welcome to the Guitar Podcast. Ooh, oof, my, Zuhair says, hey, evening, Zuhair, how you doing? Dorotio says, let's go! We like that. We like that a lot. Let's keep it metal. That's an athletic comment. Quote of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, baby. Welcome to the Guitar Podcast. I am your host with the most, El Senior Mr. Sorenzo. And I gotta tell you guys something. I gotta tell you something. We are in the mood today. We are in the mood today. Because we have an athletic stream for you. First, we are going to talk about Fender CEO messing up big time. Like, personal opinion. So, like, before I get sued by Fender, everything I say in this stream is my personal opinion for entertainment purposes only, right? And consult your law firm, your legal representative before getting to any conclusions, okay? But first, we're going to talk about Fender CEO messing up big time, in my humble opinion. And that soon it won't matter if Fender sells t-shirts or guitars. We're going to talk about that because the man came out. There was a video circling around about him responding to the Fender lawfare pushback. So we're going to talk about that. Then we're going to talk about Dean filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. What is Chapter 11? What does that constitute of? And does it mean that they're out? Does it mean that it's goodbye, Dean? We're going to talk about that. PRS Guitar released the Pink Rock Lady new electric guitar. Kanami from Bandmate was rocking it. We're going to talk about that. Charvel released an American-made San Dimas returned to the good old days. Charvel fan, 80s rock fans going to love this. We're going to talk about that guitar. And then we're going to finish with two athletic guitars. There is one Ibanez and there is one Epiphone. I'm not going to tell you what they are. We're going to talk about them. So what I'm telling you, like when I tell you this stream today is athletic, you guys know that I'm telling you the truth. Let's do this. Ooh. All right, let's get the party started, shall we? What do we have here? Zuhair says, doing quite well. We like that. Woof. Woof. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right, pause the music. That's it. Enough getting excited here. All right, let's stop that. Let's play something a bit more mellow. There we go. Zuhair asks, are you wearing a sweater? Yes, I am. It's a knitwear, right? Isn't it hot over there? Not really. So the thing with Australia or any country in the southern hemisphere of planet Earth is that our seasons are completely different to your seasons in the United States of America. Okay? So the seasons are opposite. So if it's summer there, it's winter here. Right? So you might be like, all right, well, January, December, these are like cold months. You would think that. Christmas time, snow. Well, the thing is, in Australia, December is actually summer. So we go to the beach on December, January, December, January time, that's like beach time for us. And then when it comes to July, June, July, that's where things get really cold here. Okay. That's the magic of planet Earth, man. Like southern hemisphere is like completely reversed. Like everything's different. But then again, when I think about it, so does Australia, right? So many things about Australia is also completely different to what you would expect, which is a good thing. Now you have variety. All right. So shall we get the party started, y'all? Let's get the party started, and don't get me started on Knicks Spurs. Don't get me started on NBA Finals. I've been like fuming over it. I don't know if Zuhair is a Knicks fan or not, but yeah, it's been crazy. Oh, Yo Killa, what's happening? Yo Killa on Twitch says time for the weekly Sorenzo dose. What's happening, pal? How's things? Happy Saturday. All right, y'all. Let's get the party started, shall we? Let's do this. We've been waiting for so long, and I'm gonna fire up like right away. I'm gonna go strong right away, like hard in the paint. Fender CEO came out on a sort of like a weird video. That's the best thing I can, like, that's the best way I can characterize it. Let me pause the music. So Fender CEO came out on a video that was leaked online. That wasn't a purposeful distribution from Fender, or maybe it was, but it was leaked online. What happened was that Fender CEO called for a meeting between himself and a bunch of vendors and distributors of Fender. So this wasn't a live, sort of like an open thing with everybody. It was a closed door session, and then somebody, I don't know whether they secretly filmed it or whatever, they released it online and it started circulating. It's about 15 minutes, right? I'll play you guys a brief chunk of it, and I'll put a link to the guy who uploaded it in the chat for you guys if you want to see all the 15 minutes. But I'll play you a quick chunk of that. Check this out. Here we go.
First and foremost, Fender is not suing anybody. What we've done is to reach out thoughtfully and respectively to a handful of companies whose guitars come extremely close to replicating the iconic Fender Stratocaster design. That is an unmistakable body shape, signature curves, unmistakable spirit that Leo Fender, from his own head and his own heart and his team, poured into their souls more than 7 years ago into this product.
Okay, so just before we continue, that's Bud Cole, Edward Bud Cole, the new CEO of Fender, who became the CEO this February, right? So 3-4 months ago. He's the guy who is responsible for these, like all this lawfare and cease and desist stuff. The audio is kind of low. Thanks for letting me know. The audio quality of the video, Yokilla, is not that ideal, but I'll increase the volume. Thanks for letting me know, pal.
And let's also be very specific. We're talking specifically about the Stratocaster, because that's what this is really about. Calling it simply the S-style or the S-shape is an attempt to diminish and whitewash the immeasurable, game-changing contribution that Leo and his team made to the entire industry, that all of us have built so much of our success and careers around. A contribution that has blessed every single one of us in this room and millions of players around the world. We are not going to let the legacy be erased, nor are we going to let it be diluted. Words matter. Shapes matter. Heritage matter. And protecting it matters. This is not about every double cutaway guitar on the market. It's not what we're talking about here. It's focused on products that closely copy the Stratocaster's distinctive look, that can create real confusion for players in the marketplace. And it's important to understand that this effort stems directly from the recent European Union's court ruling. So our current conversations are centered on products being made, marketed, or sold in the European Union, not here in Americas. So here's what this means for you, for our dealers, for the musicians you serve, and for every end user and collector out there. Nothing changes. Business continues exactly as usual.
Now listen.
No impact on how we work together. No changes to our dealer network, and Fender has no intention of going after artists, players, collectors, or anyone who simply loves to make music. To the contrary, we are protecting those players who play Fender, who buy Fender, who love Fender, who collect Fender, and who continue to invest in Fender. It has always been about protecting the designs that inspire them.
All right. This is I think 3 minutes of this is enough. This video goes for about 15 minutes. He talks a lot about a lot of different things. And I thought it will be super, super important for us to sort of just have a chat about what was said here and all that. So I'll give you guys a brief summary of what happened in that talk. Okay. First and foremost, in this talk, generally speaking, right, there were 3 things that were mentioned. Essentially, this 15-minute talk had 3 sections. First part was about him addressing the lawfare, the cease and desist stuff that they started. The second part was about the venture company that is the majority owner of FMIC, Fender Musical Instrument Corp. So there's a mother company, there's a venture company that is the majority stakeholder, a majority share owner of this company. He talked about that, and then he started talking about the spirit of Fender and things of that nature. And to be honest with you guys, and again, I'm just labeling all of this as my own opinion, not a statement of fact. Everything I'm saying is for entertainment purposes only before I start. But this is what I think about this. So, first things first, on the lawfare, right? So the story from Bud Cole essentially was like when you look at this guy like talking about the spirit of Fender, and it's all about protecting that. It's all about whatever not. To be completely honest with you guys, look, First things first. He's okay. So let me start here. He's like, look, we weren't like aggressive with our lawfare or anything of that nature. We weren't like doing crazy stuff, being disrespectful to the other guitar builders and things of that nature, right? And then he says like, oh, the part about lawfare where we ask the other people to destroy inventory, that was just unfortunate. That was just an unfortunate line that it shouldn't have been there, but it was there in our cease and desist legal letter to all these builders, right? And then he goes about saying, look, this is not going to impact anybody in the United States. We're not going after people in the United States and things of that nature. So this was his opener. Now, first and foremost, right, to start with, oh, we weren't aggressive. Here's the actual timeline, right? So in December 2025, Fender got a copyright ruling in Germany protecting the Strat body under the German and European Union law under a copyright, not a trademark, right? And that ruling was uncontested because the Chinese side that was supposed to, from AliExpress, the Chinese guys from AliExpress that were supposed to defend it didn't even show up in the court. So they win against an empty chair. And then that becomes legal precedent. And about 2-3 days after that, they start sending out cease and desist letters to American builders. LSL Instrument is a small American company that sells guitars in Europe as well. Paul Reed Smith is a guitar company that sells in the US, is a American company, but also sells in the European Union. So number one, the fact that this was not aggressive or is not impacting any American and all that is garbage. It's baloney, okay? They went after American companies, first and foremost, right? To the point that LSL Instruments, it's a small, the LSL is not a major player, right? They had to launch a fundraiser for the legal cost of defending themselves and the company's survival. So that's about, all right, this wasn't aggressive. And then he goes and says, look, the timelines that we offered to the other companies that we sent cease and desist letters to and the way we treated them was respectful and generous, right? And that's and so when he goes on and says that, let me remind you guys what the demand in that cease and desist letter was. Number one, stop production. Number two, recall all the products that you haven't, that your retailers haven't sold. Recall all of them. Number three, destroy remaining stock. And number four, hand over the historic sales. So anything you sold, like previously, all the Strat-shaped guitars that you sold, give us the money for that, plus at least a minimum of $250,000 US for our legal fees and infringement penalty, right? You don't accidentally ask a family business to destroy their inventory and the remaining 5 demands that I just mentioned to you guys, right? This was a well thought out cease and desist letter. There is a legal team behind it. This is not a typo in a template. Okay, and this was their opening offer. So when my guy comes in here and goes about, this was not whatever, right? This was the opening offer. Let's be clear here, okay? This was so when he goes about saying, oh, we were respectful, we weren't aggressive, it wasn't whatever, you know what I mean? That's not it. That's complete baloney in my opinion, based on, again, just the facts of all we know about it, right? So, and it didn't stop with 1 or 2 companies. Thomann Guitars got it. Heaps of other places got it. So that's on that. That's on the respectful and generous part, right? Now, here's the thing. Again, this is the bit that Fender doesn't want to talk about, is that in the United States, Fender has failed historically for 70 years to lock down these body shapes as a trademark. For about 40 years, they didn't do it. And then for 30 years after that, they tried, but you can't allow an industry to build around something for 40 years and then come back and try to claim it. It's not possible. They've lost ruling after ruling in the United States. Okay? Do you guys want to know a fun fact? Leo Fender, who was the founder of Fender Guitars, right, sold the company Fender and went on to start the company G&L, right? And in G&L, they produced stuff like that. There were, they're Strat-shaped guitars and things of that nature. You guys know G&L as a company, right? While Leo Fender was alive, Fender as a company didn't go legally after G&L. There is rumors that within a week after Leo Fender's passing, Fender started their lawsuit against G&L. Leo Fender's wife was involved trying to defend G&L. But this is like days after Leo Fender's passing, Fender went after them. So, kind of that. And then one last thing is to talk about, because to be honest with you, in my opinion, this whole charade wasn't just about going after Strat-shaped guitars. I think one of the main targets of this lawfare was PRS, because Silver Sky was such a success. We talked about it on the stream, like our end of year streams. And for those who haven't seen it, when we talk about when we have our end of year streams, we talk about guitar sales throughout the year, and Reverb releases their data. Some other websites release some data. We analyze those. Silver Sky has consistently been the top 3 sellers as a first hand and a second hand since 2022, I think, or 2021 when they released it. Right? For 2 years in a row, it was the top seller on Reverb. So one of the main targets of this whole schmuckle was PRS. Anyways, so I'm not going to go much like too deeper into that. If you guys are interested in listening to the guy, that talk is for 15 minutes. I'll put a link in the chat in a second. But just to bring it all home, this is what I want you guys. There's a lot of videos online. This is what nobody talked about. The man himself, this guy here, Bud Cole. This is what nobody talked about. Right? That is. Guys, Edward Bud Cole, the guy that you guys seeing on the screen right now, right? He could represent himself as, oh, I'm a longtime musician. In the video, he says, oh, I've got a Telecaster at home, I got a Strat at home, and I play guitar for my daughter. You could talk about all of that stuff. Fine, right? But one thing that people don't talk about is that Edward Cole, this guy, the CEO, before Fender, right, he was a senior leader at Pernod Ricard, Louis Vuitton, QVC, Ralph Lauren, the Asia Pacific departments on those companies. So Japan and Asia Pacific, or Asia in general. It's like he's been a senior executive of these companies before he came to Fender. So Pernod Ricard, Louis Vuitton's mother company, QVC. By the way, Louis Vuitton's mother company owns like shit ton of luxury goods. So it's Louis Vuitton, it's Hennessy Cognac, it's Marc Jacobs, it's Fendi. Like, I'm talking about like expensive stuff, like high-end stuff. That mother company owns like more than a dozen of them. He was an exec there. QVC, Ralph Lauren, so on. So talking about booze, expensive booze, and luxury goods, biggest luxury goods on earth. And then a home shopping channel, right? And then a fashion brand. So to say this plainly, Bud Cole, the current CEO of Fender, is a luxury item salesperson. That's the trade, right? That's the skill set they hired for Fender. Right, because before he was the CEO of the whole company, Bud Cole was the CEO of the Japanese wing of Fender, right? He came from Tokyo. He came from the Tokyo branch. So even Fender's own announcement like describes him as bringing a career across consumer lifestyle, luxury goods, and so on. When he was announced as a CEO. So when this guy comes in and talks about the spirit of music and how words matter and how shapes matter and how music is in our hearts and all that monologue isn't a guitarist giving a monologue to guitarists. It's a brand manager doing brand management. So when the Louis Vuitton guy tells you that something has a soul, what he actually means is that something has margin. And so, yeah, there was a lot of videos online this week about people talking about this talk and analyzing it and things of that nature. But the reality of it is that the guy is a luxury item salesperson. Right? And so now put it together with the direction that Fender as a brand is going. Because we all know, everybody who owns Fender or has been following Fender for some time, one of the things you guys know, like you read it online and all that, is that, let's be honest, the quality of this stuff hasn't been improving, right? You get the Mexican-made stuff, you get the Chinese/Indonesian-made stuff. But in my opinion, the brand's the quality of the instruments weren't getting better. You're not getting a better Strat in 2025 or 2026 than what you got in 2019, right? I could say that about Suhr guitars. I could say that about PRS guitars. You can't say that about Fender, right? So it's gotten to a point, I think, that with Fender, the brand value, the value of the Fender brand has surpassed the value proposition of the instruments. Like Fender, before it's an instrument company, it's a brand now. I think Fender has passed that threshold, in my opinion. Because when you get a company starts focusing on just releasing products, whether that product is guitar, bass, studio software, multi-effect pedal, t-shirts, mugs, a Tokyo store with a whole experience. Like when you talk about that, like when a company goes there, you can kind of start to conclude that the brand is now bigger than the guitars. Right? And it kind of makes sense, right? Because the thing is that there's only so many guitar players in the world, but you can get a lot of people to wear a t-shirt. You can wear a lot of people to buy a mug. The market is not capped like the way it is in the guitar world. So financially, maybe it makes perfect sense for Fender to make that move. I'm not saying it's a good or a bad move. But what I'm telling you is that everything I'm hearing, it just feels like, smells like, that Fender's brand value now is more than Fender's value proposition on the guitars. Means increasingly it won't make a difference to the owners of FMIC on whether Fender is selling guitars or t-shirts. And that's a sad ending, I think. That's a sad thing for the legacy of Leo Fender, to be frank. The man, like, him and Ted McCarty were like the top two, they were like the luthiers of the golden era of guitar. So I just wanted to put that out there, like, because I saw everybody talking about, the legal case of Fender, yada, yada, and nobody talked about, like, who, like, Edward Bud Cole is, and where is this talk coming from? And I think understanding that is really important, so you understand what this whole thing is about. All right, let's leave it here and see what you guys put in the chat. Let's have a look at the chat. All right, what do we have here? Is the audio okay now, by the way? Zuhair says audio is fine for me. Okay, good to know. Doroteo says the audacity of this guy. Bruh, Fender didn't say anything for the past 40 years till China and Indonesia companies made Strats par to an expensive Fender. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Exactly my point. Very well said. That's why they lost. Court case after court case in America. For 40 years, y'all didn't care. It's only when other people became successful and did things that you weren't able to do at a certain price point, that's when Fender's feather got ruffled a little. Glorified Potato, thank you very much for subscribing to the YouTube channel, pal. Appreciate it. Glorified Potato. That's a glorified name. I like it. Yokilla says, talks a lot about Fender. They are a U.S. company, and U.S. already decided that the Strat design is a public domain. How many guitars would they want to sell, really? Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, it's an American company going after other American companies, pretending like it's only in Europe. Like, Yeah. Yo Killa says, yeah, as if they won't because their argument is so convincing. They won't because the opposing party didn't come. Yeah, literally the Chinese side didn't show up in the court case. They won by by the guy just not showing up. And then that's legal precedent in the entirety of the European Union. Isn't that insane? Like, it's a smart move they made. Because in all, like, you know, the Chinese side who's like making cheap knockoffs is not going to show up because their brand doesn't have any value. Like, you know, there's a brand ABC sells Strats on Alibaba. And then, you know, you ask them to shut down. You know what they're going to do? They're just going to change the brand and change the website and change whatever. They're just going to create a new website and continue. They don't have a brand to protect. Right? And so, of course, they're not going to show up. And so you win that court case against them. And now it's like legal precedent in the entirety of Europe. England, Germany, France, Italy, Finland, Switzerland, Denmark. All of them now have to follow that? Like, that's insane. That's insanity. Well, I guess England, and by the way, I guess England is not part of the European Union, right? They had the Brexit. So, yeah. Yo, Killa says, correct, not accidental at all. It's a failed attempt to crush what they can crush and make it an example to the bigger brands, ultimately wanting to monopolize the industry. Disgusting. I agree with you. In short, this is all business for him, all numbers for him. 100%. So if you guys watch that, by the way, before I forget, so I'm going to put the link to that video in the chat. Watch it before it gets taken down because it could be. If you guys care about it, let me put it in the chat for you guys. So this is the link to the, I'm going to call the Fender CEO leaked talk. I don't know if it's actually crazy leaked or not, but it's not a formal release, right? So here you go. So if you guys want to have a look at the thing in full, this is the link. Yeah. Zuhair says, not interested in these topics, Sorenzo, so we'll see you next time. Be safe. Happy guitar playing. You too, man. I'll catch you next time. Stay warm. Appreciate you. Dorotio says, Fender legality is a hot topic right now in the guitar community. It is, right? I think, look, the only reason I'm so passionate about it is that these things matter if we want to have a thriving guitar community. Think about like 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago. I remember when I was a kid, I was barely a teenager. People were telling me, look, if you want to buy an electric guitar, don't buy a cheap one. Because cheap ones are essentially like you throwing the money away. You're going to buy it, it's going to work for 3 days, and it'll never work again. So you've lost your money. So if you want to buy something for $200, don't do it. You're just going to lose that $200. Buy something for $400. And then that thing is like, has a chance. There was a lot of truth to that 25 years ago. The cheap stuff were truly bad. There were not good guitars. There were not many good cheap guitars. It's completely different now. You can buy a really good guitar that you can grow old with for $300. If you know how to buy secondhand, especially. Right? So, and the reason that's the case, the reason the quality of these things were gone up throughout the years is because of that competition. Is because people looked at what Fender couldn't do in a Strat for a certain price tag, and they thought they could do better. And they picked it up and did it. And that not only that, it gave us more options as consumers, but it forced Fender to lift its game up. For a second, imagine if Fender wins like the Strat thing over everybody in all countries. You know what? Only Fender can do Stratocasters now. Right? Or Strat-shaped guitars. What do you think stops Fender to sell you a Mexican-made, not even Mexican-made, a Chinese-made Strat a cheap Chinese-made Strat for $3,000? What stops them from doing that? Has anyone thought of this? If Fender can get a monopoly on a Strat-shaped guitar, what stops them from selling a cheap Chinese, crappy-made Strat with a Fender logo for $3,000? That's an exaggeration, but you guys get the idea. Anyways, so let's move on. Let's move on and talk about an actual guitar, and then we're going to talk about the Dean stuff with which Doroteo mentioned last week. Doroteo was ahead of the curve then, by the way. Like, Doroteo talked about the Dean lawsuit in the chat last week. I remember. But it was a little too early. I didn't know like that crazily much about it, so I didn't talk about it then, but it's out now, so we're going to talk about that a little. Yo Killa says, my end game before was a Fender Telecustom shop. Suddenly a PRS core doesn't sound bad at all. Fender fan since day one, even had that shirt. Oh man, that's depressing. That's sad. It's a sad thing, like the legacy of Leo Fender and how many people love Fender as a brand. I hear you, dude. I hear you. And I appreciate that, Killer, and I appreciate the fact that you're open-minded about it, that you are a dynamic consumer, right? Because there are some consumers that are not dynamic. No matter what Fender does, Fender can go on like start shooting people, right? Fender can go start about like doing craziest of stuff, and they will still stay. And that's like a cult member, right? You're a cult member if you stay with somebody or some company, no matter what they do. And there are actual smart buyers like yourselves that are dynamic. You know, if something doesn't work out, I'm going to, move on to somewhere that represents my interests. And that's a smart thing to do. And I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Yeah. All right. Shall we jump to the next item on the docket? Let's jump to the next item on the docket, because the next item did not see that coming. So let's do this. So Paul Reed Smith Guitars released this, and immediately as soon as I saw it, the color of it was a little bit weird for me. And I'm the guy who likes like some pink guitars. So I have two pink guitars at home, with the Hello Kitty and the and my Epiphone. Forgot the brand, but it's pink, right? So, and I like those pinks, but this is a girly pink, I would think. Like the other pink ones I've got is not that girly, but this one looks really girly. Anyways, so the pure Doroteo says puro piares vatos. Yes. So they released this one, this guitar this week. It is based off of an animation. Now, the specs of this guitar is not that crazy interesting. It's very similar to Paul's guitar. I'm not going to spend too much time on the specs of this guitar. The fun thing about this guitar is the story of it. That I'm gonna play for you guys. You guys can have a listen. So essentially, this wasn't a guitar that PRS wanted to actually make. There was a group of Japanese cartoon makers, animators, that made a guitar based off of the Custom 24 in their animation. And then PRS made this new guitar based off of that. So it was completely the other way around. Let me pause the music. And the guy who is the chief technical officer, I think is he the chief financial officer? I don't know. The guy talks about how everything was done in reverse. Check this out.
We had our guys from PRS Japan here in the U.S. We had a meeting. We had our guys from PRS Japan here in the U.S. We had a meeting in my office. They rolled video, and lo and behold, it turns out that there is an anime that has a rendition.
Whoa. Sorry, guys. Stop. Hold on a second. What? Yokilla said, Sorry, missed this last week's stream. Wife went through initial treatment for cancer. Successful trip. Yes! Boom! There we go. Sorry, guys. I had to stop this because I saw Dorotio saying, "Oh, I'm glad everything turned out for your wife. Turned out okay for your wife." I'm like, hold on, stop this. Stop it for a second. Wife went through initial treatment for cancer. Successful up, by the way. A win is a win. A huge win. Dude, congratulations. I'm so happy to hear that. Man. For those who don't know, like, if you are lucky enough that your loved one didn't have to go through like a treatment for cancer or something like that, man, it's a tough thing to deal with. And I have one of our someone close to me that is going through it and went through it and is still going through it. I'm so happy to hear that, man. Congratulations. Please send my best wishes to the missus. That's so happy. I'm so glad I stopped. Screw that. Let's talk about this. Congrats, man. That's so good to hear. That made me happy. Yeah. Like Yokila is like, I'm so athletic today. Man, the weight of some weight is off your shoulder. You're like, this is like, all right, it's a little better now. Yeah, send our regards to her, man. And if you get a chance, you know, just get a sip of nice bourbon to celebrate. Celebrate these little things. It's worth it. Congratulations. Ha! Stop it there. Stop it right there. We have to pop a can to this. Hold on a second. Bring it on. It's our favorite part of the stream. We're going to start it early. And we're going to go back to the guitar. Woof. Let me pop this open. Guys, bring your glasses. We're going to do one to Yokilla and Mrs. Health. Cheers, my friend. Congratulations. I'm sure it's a massive weight off your shoulders. Boom. We like it. Yokilla says, got my Yakult. Let's go. Hell yeah. Yakult for the win. They're so good. The Yakult is so delicious. I kid you guys not. There was one morning, this is like, I don't know, 3-4 years ago. There was this one morning that I went to the fridge and I had one. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a little thirsty. I just woke up. Like, I'm a little thirsty and this tastes good. I want more of it. So I sipped up, I think, about 3 of those little bottles. Man, my digestive system did not appreciate that. I don't know if I had 3 or 4, but I had one too many. And my digestive system did not like it at all. So I was in the bathroom for some time after that. So long story short, the moral of this story is, guys, if you like Yakult, show some moderation. Okie dokes. Alrighty, pause the music. We needed to talk about it. I just saw it from I was watching the PRS thing, and then from the corner of my eye, I saw Dorothea put something in the chat, and I'm like, oh my, what is that? And so we had to stop it. We had to do that. Yokilla says 3 or 4. You're a maniac, sir. Yeah, this thing was, look, it wasn't a conscious decision, right? It was me just waking up in the morning. I'm half asleep. I'm a little thirsty, and I'm craving something like slightly sweet and whatever not. So I see a Yakult bottle. I pick it up, and then I'm like, I want another one and another one. So I think I had like 4 of them or 3 of them. and then I had to go to the toilet for some time because the digestive system did not respond well to that action, that attitude towards Yakult. Because it's like it's full of bacteria, right? It's supposed to have like you have one bottle and it has nice microbiome for your gut bacteria health. Like it's a good thing for you. Anyways, all right. That was good. Oh man, that was well worth the stop. That was well worth the stop. We like that. We like that. Let's go back to the video. All right. So for those who are following up now, we just jumped to the stream now. We are talking about PRS's new release. They released a new guitar called the Rock Lady. Check this out. Yo, Killa says that's precisely why it's sized like that. Yeah, I know. I know that's why it's small. I get it. There we go. All right, so this is where we were. For those who just jumped in and they're a little confused, that's okay. It's all right. PRS released an SE Rock Lady limited edition. The fun thing about it is that they actually made this guitar off of a guitar that shows up in a Japanese animation. The specs of this guitar, the bridge, the electronics and all that is very similar to Paul's guitar. And if I'm not mistaken, it's 8515S pickups on it. We'll talk about that. But let's just follow this story here, see what this gentleman, the chief financial officer, I think, he's one of the C's in PRS. Let's talk about it. Yo, Killer says, this isn't shell pink, right? No, I don't think so. I think they came up with a new type of pink. He talks about it here.
We had our guys from PRS Japan here in the US. We had a meeting in my office. They rolled video, and lo and behold, it turns out that there is an anime that has a rendition of a Paul's guitar. We took that as a great compliment, actually. So I think my first reaction was, that's pretty cool. Let's dive into it and see what's going on.
This is a bandmate song, by the way. So for those who don't know, this lovely lady, her name is Kanami. She's a kick-ass guitar player. She's a Japanese guitar player. She's the lead guitarist and the lead composer for the Japanese band called Bandmade. And if you guys see her live, she is so accurate live. She's insane live. And what she's playing right now is the soundtrack that Bandmade was commissioned to make for this animation here. And she can play this live. She does that live.
Named Lily, who is exploring music, discovering, enjoying making sounds with her friends. This isn't just a show that has a guitar for us, but the fact that Konami and Bandmade have created the opening music for the show is incredibly cool. It makes it real. It takes fiction and brings it into reality.
主題歌を担当させていただくことになって原作を読ませていただ
All right, that's not fair to you guys. Hold on, let me give you a little bit more at the bottom of this so you guys can read the subtitle. There you go. And I'll move myself up here so you can for those who you guys don't, most of you don't speak Japanese, so hopefully you will. I just forgot for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, you don't need the subtitle, but no, you do.
いただくことになって原作を読ませていただきました。もうすごく面白くて私もすごくハマっちゃったんですけど、リリサと音羽の魂と魂がぶつかり合うようなドラムとギターのバトルみたいなものを入れたいな、楽曲の中に入れたいなと思って作らせていただいて、実際に作っている時はもう自分もワクワクしながら制作していました。
When I watched the video of Konami playing the opening music, the moves, it's obvious that she was the inspiration for the moves of the anime. It is the anime in real life, and that's an astounding thing to see.
で、モーションキャプチャーアクターをやらせていただいたのが私自身が初めてだったので、最初はすごく緊張していたんですけど、だんだんですね、スタッフさんの皆さんもすごくよくしていただいたのでスムーズに撮影することができまして、あとスーツを着てセンサーをつけてですね、演奏シーンを撮っていくんですけど、リリサだったらどんな風に演奏するかなっていうのを。
Isn't it insane for that level of animation? Like, it's a cartoon animation. It's not like Penguins of Madagascar type of animation. This is like more like a cartoon. But even for these now, they're using motion capture. Isn't that insane?
私の中で想像しながら演奏させていただきまして、とても貴重な経験となりました。
This is sort of a reverse deal, so it's kind of interesting. So it starts with someone's vision of our guitar and then us having to catch up with their thoughts, which is not the way it goes. What I noticed off the bat is the body is absolutely a Paul's guitar. 22 fret, stop tail. When I looked at the fingerboard, I was like, oh, it doesn't have birds on it. That's interesting. But the switching is accurate, the cutaway, the scoop, everything about that guitar visually on the body is spot on. So there was a lot of thought that went into this. This was not a haphazard sort of close thing. They kind of nailed it. They configured a guitar. It was cool.
Look how excited
this guitar is very similar in many ways to Konami's signature model.
Oh yeah, I
She's
forgot to say.
playing a
So
custom-
Konami actually has a signature model with PRS. It was released as a limited edition, but it's essentially a custom 24/8. So Konami's signature guitar is literally a custom 24/8 in every which way. The only thing different about it is the top wood's what do you call it? Stain job. Really, it has a unique stain job on it. Other than that, it's a very, very, very close to a standard custom 24/8. Just so you guys to know. Yokilla says. Yokilla says, lucky the animation featured a PRS-like guitar. Bet if it was a Fender Strat, they'd have to prepare for loss. My head hurts. Ouch. Dude, stop it. Oh, man. That was hilarious. Oh, man, my head hurts. I'm getting to that age of when I laugh out loud, I have to cough. That was superb. Lucky animation featured a PRS-like guitar. Bet if it was a Fender Strat, they had to prepare for a lawsuit. So true. So true. That's Japanese animation at its finest, I agree. Yokilla says, always striving for the best outcome possible. Japan, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I agree with you, dude. I kid you not, here hurts now from that laughing. Getting old.
2408. This guitar is a Paul's guitar, is what the basis is. The huge disparity between the two are going to be 24 versus 22 frets and a stop tail versus a tremolo. The switching is essentially the same in the way that it's executed, how it physically works. And so it kind of speaks to both Lily and Konami, I think.
いや、すごくいいギターだと思いました。まずですね、弾いた
So I'll take you guys a little further forward to just talk about essentially the color and the pickup the pickup stuff, the pickup covers that they saw in the animation. They didn't have any color like similar to that, so they had to actually make it up.
Print to create that on the surface of a bobbin. So they went into research mode, and that's how we did it. We did a UV print job on it, did scratch tests on it. It's very resilient, and it actually kind of takes us to a new spot. We'd never tried it before. So thank you, Lily, for that. We have developed your pickups.
あとはトラスロットカバーも
So that was the interesting part about it. The reason that I thought this was really, really interesting was because of the fact that they saw something as an animation, and then they started developing things that they didn't have because of the inspiration that they got from the animation. You know what I mean? Like, even the animation got them to do something they didn't do before, and they did something really fun for it. Funny enough, and this is the thing, right? Initially, the plan was to create 69 of these guitars. I'm not making a joke here. Like, I recognize that might sound like a joke. It's not. It was supposed to be
fictional artist.
Oops. There we go. That's a nice image. So it was supposed to be 69 of them only, and they thought that it's going to be very little and there's going to be some people pissed off, so they made 609 of them. Now, why they're sticking to 69 and what's the dirty joke behind it, I don't know. but there's 609 of them as a limited edition thing. That's the thing that people don't know that. Dorotio says Japan Ibanez RG Prestige guitars are badass. They really are. Japanese made guitars are awesome. Yo Killa says the most famous YouTuber here in the Philippines, which is a musician as well, even went to Japan to buy that Prestige. Wow, really? Okay. And then Dorotio says Love Bites is an all-woman Japanese. There's so many all Japanese women metal bands. Love Bites is one of them. What's that anime style Japanese band that has a song called Chocolate? They're like an anime metal. I don't even know how to categorize it. I forgot their name. Bandmate is another. They're more like rock than metal. There's another band called Trident. It's a trio. They're really good. Yeah. The Yokila says, I think they don't want to go 67 because of 67. 67. I think 68 would be awkward. Yeah, no, 69 is not awkward at all. So anyways, long story short, this is the what do you call it? The guitar. All right, let's talk about this. Let me get our music back, and then we'll go through the specs of this guitar together. Boom. Give me that blues, baby. Let's go. We like that. Talking about 69s, look at the mellow vibe we're creating here. So here we go. We got this going on. All right, so stop tail with brass inserts. That is very PRS. So this is like PRS's engineered stop tail. They have the vintage style tuners with sort of like, lighter tuning wings. It's a TCIS. Sorry, guys. I thought it was 8515. It's a TCIS pickup, which is a more modern sounding pickup from PRS. It's their sort of like, what do you call it? It's like a all-in-one. It's like a very versatile all-in-one kind of a pickup. There we go. And that truss rod looks, it's a lily like a flower. I don't know. Like from distance, it looks like something else. I'll be honest with you. As much as I love PRS, I don't think this was the best design. It looks like something else from distance. So it's a maple top wood and a mahogany body. Interestingly enough, it doesn't seem like they use the veneer on this. So it's a maple top, an actual maple top, because most SEs have veneers on them. And they don't have like a body carve per se. So, but this one actually has a shallow violin carve. So this is a really high-end SE, right? It really is. Doesn't have a veneer, has an actual top wood, and has a shallow violin top carve, which you usually see in S2s. 22 frets, 25-inch scale, mahogany body, multiply neck construction, nice and stable. Wide fat neck shape. So what is that? So nut width at the nut is this. What's that in millimeters? .2 centimeters, 42 mils. Okay, and what about neck depth? 42.8 is almost 43, so that's not that crazy. So that's pretty standard, actually. Okay, so 22 mils. Okay, the neck is a little thick. Yeah, so 22 mils on the first fret in thickness, and 43 mil in width. It is kind of thick. It is kind of a thick neck, yeah. Right. Fretboard wood is rosewood, 10-inch radius, like a lot of PRS is not a surprise there. And you have the vintage style tuners. PRS nut, in all likelihood, is something like a Graphtec. TCI S treble and bass pickups, and comes with 1046 strings in standard tuning with a gig bag. So, yeah, you kind of expect the kind of sound to get out of this guitar. It's like they're modern versatile. It's like modern version of 8515, essentially. But I think the thing that really sets this guitar apart from your average SEs is you know, the shallow violin carve, the fact that they were using an actual top wood. These are the main, I think, features that really separates it from the rest of the SEs. But you guys notice this? How much they're getting the SE stuff closer to the core stuff aesthetically? Like, for example, these pickup rings are new pickup rings that PRS started doing from this year. Like, they made it look like the core pickup rings, for example. Right? Or if you look at the tuning pegs, like these ones. So from last year, I think, or maybe a year before, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, they started using really lightweight plastic as the tuning keys because of the fact that they wanted to make it lighter. And they believe that making this lighter actually makes the neck more resonant. And you can see, I don't know how the weight of these tuning keys, but I can tell you for a fact that the look of it is inspired by the core stuff. Right? And that's a smart thing to do, because at the end of the day, it's the core guitars, it's the high-end guitar that dictates the price tag of the lower-end guitar, right? So if you have an American-made high-end guitar, and then you have like an affordable Indonesian-made version of that, right? The price fluctuations in the US made one, in the higher end one, impacts the price tag of the lower end one. So the closer you can tie them together, as you increase the price on the higher end, you can bring the price up on the lower end to some degree too. Because essentially it's the copy of a more expensive thing. Do you guys want to know what I mean? So there is such a relationship there. And I think it's not just a smart thing to do for them, for the customers, because you can now buy something cheaper that sounds really good and really looks like the US made stuff too. So that's a value add for the clients, for the customers. Fantastic. But at the same time, I think it ties the two guitars, the higher end and the lower end, better business wise. So there we go. Just one color. That's your pickup config. Each pickup has a coil switch, for humbucker or single coil sound. And that is a pearl pink. Somebody asked earlier what kind of pink it was. They're calling it a pearl pink. They added something like a little glittery to it so that it has the same sheen, same shine as the animation. So, a fun video if you guys want to watch it in full. It's about 10 minutes. I watched it. It's a fun watch. You can check that out. That, my friends, is the new PRS SE limited edition Lily. Woof. How much is it, I wonder? Let's look it up. I want to see if Sweetwater has any right now. How much is this? Let's go, Sweetwater. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, see what we have here. Do they have it? No, they don't have it yet. PRS SE Rock Lady. They don't have it. They have the Ed Sheeran stuff, but they don't have the Rock Lady yet. Huh, okay. Man, I just saw this. Do you guys remember back in good old days when SEs were less than $1,000? You guys remember those days? The Zach Mayer's semi-hollow single cut, $1,000, like $999. And then you had like the new stuff, SE stuff, Herman Lee's, that's like just below 2,000. Like back in the good old days, you could buy an SE guitar for less than 1,000. Yeah, man. But anyways, it's not even on Sweetwater yet for us to check and see how much it actually costs. Insane. All right, shall we jump to the next item on the docket? How are we feeling? Let's jump to the next item on the docket. So this was something that Doroteo brought up on the last stream. Doroteo brought it up, and at the time when he mentioned it, I didn't know. Like, I knew the news out there, but there wasn't that much like detail about what was going on. So we didn't really go deeply into it. I don't think I even mentioned it. So let's check this out. Reduce the volume a little. Yeah. There we go. That's better. Check this out. So finally the news came out that Dean Guitars filed for bankruptcy. Armadillo Distribution Enterprises and their partner Concordia jointly filed for a court-supervised bankruptcy, essentially, right? And again, just like any bankruptcy news, when something like that comes out, a lot of guitar players sort of start speculating. A lot of people start talking about this stuff. So I thought to take a moment to actually break down for everybody what happened, right? Because the reality is that, sorry, Dean Guitars has been struggling with financial issues for some time now. Some of it is the aftermath of all the legal stuff they had to deal with against Gibson, against the state of Dimebag Darrell, and situations like that. But the reality is that when you read something like Bankruptcy, and guitar articles don't help because they need the clicks. They usually make things bigger than what they actually are. But let's have a chat about it. Let me break down what happened here, right? So Dean Guitar's parent company, Armadillo, right, filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, right? Now, Chapter 11 is not the company shutting down. There are different types of bankruptcies you can file, right? Chapter 7 is the one that everybody knows. Chapter 7 is the one that you have to liquidate everything, right? When you have to sell off everything, close the doors, and then ride to the sunset. That's Chapter 7. What Chapter 11 is it lets the company keeps operating as is while it goes on and it reorganizes its financial structure. Right? Does that make sense? But that restructuring has to be under court supervision. So that is the difference. So when you might have read some articles, you might have heard on some podcast or whatever that, Dean is still gonna, send out, because that happened, right? Dean, after they filed for bankruptcy, what Dean did is that they sent out a letter to all their distributors and vendors and so on and saying, look, things have not changed. Number one, we're operating as is. Number two, all the warranties are still valid. And number three, we're still making and sending out guitars, right? And when they said that, that's a statement of fact because Chapter 11 allows you to do that, right? So that's the thing. Now, what does this reorganizing the financial structure actually look like in practice? So when you do a Chapter 11, what is the point of it? Because everybody says, there's different types of it. What is this about? A few things, right? So under Chapter 11, they can go to their creditors and do a renegotiation on the debt that they owe. There are some rumors out there that their assets are between 1 to 2 million and their liabilities go up to 50 million. There's different numbers out there. I don't know the facts, so I'm not going to speculate here. But suffice to say, they're in heavy debt for a small company that what they are right now. They're not as big as they used to be. Let's be honest here, right? So what Chapter 11 allows them to do is that it allows them to go to their people that they owe money to, their creditors, and do a renege on the pay. So they pay back less than the full amount, right? So a creditor, somebody who has lent Gibson money, let's just say they gave Gibson, did I say Gibson? Dean, I meant. So a creditor that gives Dean, say, $1 million, right? They want their money back. Now, what Dean essentially, the thing that the company Dean is doing right now is that they're going to them and say, hey, look, sorry, but I can give you back, say, 60 cents on the dollar or 70 cents on the dollar right now, right? And a lot of times people that are owed money will accept it. And the reason they accept it is because it's much better to take the 60 cents on the dollars now as opposed to chasing the company back to the ground, right? Because the company might completely just go out of business. And now if you are owed money, there's no money for you to get. And because it's an LLC and not an individual, when the company's gone, it's gone, right? An individual doesn't owe you money. You gave money to the company, and when the company's gone, your thing is gone. So a lot of creditors, a lot of people that are owed money will take that deal. They'll take 60 cents, 70 cents on the dollar and say, all right, well, a little less money now is better than no money at all, the risk of no money. So that's the first thing, right? And what they can do, the second thing that you can do under Chapter 11 is that you can stretch out the timeline. So like if you were to return that money for like in, say, 2 years, you can stretch that out. And the reason you can do that, part of that is that, well, if the court is supervising the company now, that gives the creditors a little bit of peace of mind, a little, not much, to say, all right, well, now if things weren't done the right way, the court is gonna force them to do it in the right way, so we can stretch the timeline a little bit out too, right? So that's on that. Now, on the company side, so on the Dean's side, it also gives them an opportunity to get away, right, from parts of the business that are bleeding money, right? So in situations like this, you will stop doing all the other products that are not generating money or they're, causing you to bleed money, and you go all in on the superstars to sort of get things back on track. So you would expect, I won't be surprised, this is just a guess, but I suppose it's an educated guess, won't be surprised at all if Dean just goes all in on the ML model or a couple of models, I don't know, Razorback ML, just goes all in on the superstars, and then all the other things, that are not necessarily the biggest moneymaker are going to be put on hold for a while until the company can, stand on its own feet. So essentially they're going to walk from, contracts or leases that are essentially bleeding cash. If they don't need a warehouse, they're going to get rid of it. If there's a supplier deal that is underwater, they're going to get rid of it. Things of that nature. So that's literally what's happening. So it's not the end of the world. It's obviously, when you file for bankruptcy means something is wrong. That's not like an ideal situation. But Dean can still, if you guys are a fan of MLs, I'll be very surprised if they stop producing them. There might be a little less quantity and things of that nature, but they'll be out there. So that's the ideal. Now, for those who don't know, and this is most people maybe do, but really how they got here, I think one of the biggest factors was just their legal battle with Gibson. Right, Gibson sued them over and over again on the the Explorer shape, the V and Z instrument, so the V shape instrument and the Z shape, which is essentially an Explorer. Right now, funny enough, when Gibson won the lawsuit for the V and the Z shapes, the jury awarded Gibson just $1 in damages. That's how stupid it was, right? Just $1. But the cost of going to the court all the time was one of the things that got Dean literally bankrupt. And then they had that separate legal battle with the state of Dimebag Darrell over the Razorback, I think, and the Stealth models. So that's that, which is weird, but that's what's basically happening with Dean. It's a Chapter 11 bankruptcy, not a Chapter 7, right? Doroteo says, Dean guitars falling like flies. Yeah. Man, I remember how big they were back in, when the late Dimebag Darrell was alive. I remember how big they were. They were huge. Trivium used to play Dean guitars. Matt Heafy had the Razorback. And Corey Bailey was playing the V, one of the Vs. Yeah. Again, and can I say this? Just linking it back to the Fender stuff that we talked about earlier. This is why it is important to talk about the Fender lawsuit. It's not a lawsuit, it's a cease and desist letter, lawfare, right? That's why it's important to talk about that lawfare, because it's the pushback that really got the CEO of Fender to gather all the vendors and the dealers to say, "Hi, like, you know, it wasn't that aggressive. We were being nice and respectful." It's that pushback, our pushback, right? Got the vendors alerted, got the vendors and distributors worried, and then they got Fender CEO to get in a room and try and explain, right? And again, just like this situation here, Gibson was awarded $1, $1, a coin, right? Well, a bill. Just $1 though, right? After this legal battle was won. It's the cost of the lawfare that got Dean like grounded the way it is right now. Fender is big enough, they can cop the cost of the lawfare. LSS can't. I don't know if Harley Benton will. I don't know if Thoman's willing to put that much money behind a Harley Benton guitar brand to go to the courts constantly. A lot of other guitar builders won't. PRS hopefully fights it. Like, this is how strong. If PRS starts to put a GoFundMe to fight this, I'll donate to that GoFundMe. I'll pay money to that GoFundMe. Because it's not right that a guitar company gets grounded for legal costs on a court case that the award is $1 for it. You know what I mean? It's just not right. This is why I talked about these stuff. This is why I think it matters. I think Zuhair earlier was like, "Oh, I'm not interested in this, so I'm going to leave." That's completely fine, man. If everybody leaves, when I think something is important for all of us, I'm going to stand for it. And I love you guys. I'm not saying this to have a go at you guys or anything. I love you guys. Genuinely have the greatest of time. I'm so grateful you guys join me every time on the weekend. I genuinely am. Like, you guys know me by now. But I think this is important. It matters to all of us because guitars matter. Yeah. And like, yeah. Doroteo says strength in numbers. I swear to God, man. Strength in numbers for the right cause. Like, the fact that what Fender is doing is wrong, or like if Gibson, I'm not saying that, by the way, they're not allowed to protect what they think is their, you know, is their trademark, I suppose, right? But my man, after, you know, years, like decades, you go to the court and the court says it's not anymore. It's not anymore. Like, it's not your trademark anymore. It's over. It's wrong. Doing it to other brands, smaller companies, is wrong. Anywho, shall we move to something a little bit more fun? We're done with the lawsuit stuff, I promise. That's it. There was 2 big lawsuits. This week was the lawsuit week, wasn't it? Like, a lot of stuff came out about it. But let's jump to Doroteo. You're gonna like this. You're gonna like this. You're the 80s guy. Check this out. Charvel St. Dimas returns to its roots. Charvel introduces the Made in California American Neoclassic St. Dimas series. How good is that? How good is that? Oh man, I really like them. Charvel, like, even now, like, Charvel and Jackson give me a bit of a bad taste because both of them are owned by FMIC, by Fender. So Charvel, Jackson, Bigsby, Eddie Van Halen, you name it. So it kind of gives me a weird taste. Like, I don't like the Fender headstock on these. But man, I'm so glad they released something like that goes back to like to the 80s stuff. Charvel has unveiled the American Neoclassic San Dimas series, comprising 2 guitars based on the brand's classic SD blueprint, built in Corona, California. First introduced in 1979 after Jackson founder Grover Jackson bought out Wayne Charvel's guitar business in the late 70s, San Dimas later became a defining guitar of the 80s hard rock and heavy metal scenes, and now they released the neo-classic San Dimas. Dorotio says, these guitars are definitely 1980s glam metal guitars. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Check this out. So this is what they released. Let me minimize myself a little. There we go. So the first one is essentially, by the way, so both of these models come in different colors. The first one has a floating bridge. The second one is a hardtail. And so if you have a look at it, look at that. Oh, I love the simplicity on this, man. I really dig the simplicity on this. How good is that? Classic look. Simple. Simple. We dig it. We really do. Yeah. So now, pickups are very, very known pickups in these. Like, very, very known pickups. So you have the Seymour Duncan JB59 pickup combination. Right. And then the neck position. So the neck position is Seymour Duncan 59. And Seymour Duncan 59 is one of my top 3 favorite neck pickups. For those, if you guys haven't had the Seymour Duncan 59, I highly recommend you trying it out. Seymour Duncan 59 was made after the PAF pickup, the Gibson PAF. So they sort of like went to see, essentially what they did was that they tried to do a better PAF than Gibson. That was Seymour Duncan's attempt. And I think they did something phenomenal. I'm not going to say whether it's better or worse than PAF. I'll leave that to you guys. But I have 3 of my guitars that have the Seymour Duncan 59 on the neck. The pickup is phenomenal. Highly, highly recommended. It's creamy. It's warm. It's just amazing pickup for the neck. Highly recommended. And then you have the JB bridge pickup on this guitar, which is high output, right? You people know JB59, so that's a known combination. The neck has a 12 to 16 inch compound radius, 22 jumbo stainless steel frets. So, how good is that? It's 4,500 US Australian dollar. Yeah, 4,500 Aussie dollars. But how much is it in the US? Because it's usually more expensive in Australia. $2,800. There we go. So $2,800 on the one with the floating bridge, and then $50 cheaper for the fixed bridge. Yeah, not bad. I mean, it's a little pricey, but it is very pricey. $2,800. But yeah, check this out. Boom. And then the Fender CEO is sitting on his chair like this, laughing. Haha, these guys are going after Fender and Squier, but nobody knows about Jackson and Charvel that we also own. That's insane. There we go. They got that little truss rod there. That's your Seymour Duncan 59. That's your Seymour Duncan JB. Is that a hip shot bridge? Because we really dig this. Look at that bridge. That bridge looks awesome. Give me the specs on this baby. Oh man. So they're going really classic with the neck body joint too, huh? There's no carve out. There's no smoothing of the thing. Okay, fine. We're going for the classic. That's fine. We don't mind. Shall we have a listen to it? Pause the music. Let's go. I'll give you guys some volume. And rock and roll. Boom. Can I say a couple of things? Number one, for 1 second, I thought that was Rick Beato. Look at this guy. It was like I swear to God, I could swear that this, like, for a second, I like seriously thought that that's Rick Beato. That's like a Italian guy in his 60s playing the guitar. He looks like Rick Beato. It's so Rick Beato. It's not Rick Beato, but he kind of looks like it. And that's the first thing. And then second thing, look at those 5150s this guy's playing with. Both the head and the cap. Look at that. 5150s. And next to the skateboarders. You know what would have been really funny? If there was one of the skateboarders that just came in and crashed through the amp stack, like a Jackass movie. That would have been hilarious. But there we go. This was the demo of the new classic San Dimas SD, done by a guy who looks very similar to Rick Beato, and on 5150. Where people are rolling around skateboards. Yeah, that's so California. No? that's so California. So there you have it. Doroteo says, killer guitars nonetheless, but damn high prices. I hear you. I agree. That's very pricey. To be honest with you, I like the thing is, like, Seymour Duncan JBs and Seymour Duncan 59 pickups are so around. Like, they are around. Right? They're not like expensive, crazy secret finds. They really are not. Right? So if you really like that sound, if you really enjoy the Seymour Duncan 59 and the JB, just install it on your guitar at home. Like, anybody who's into it, I'm not talking to Dorothea specifically, but like, if this is something you like, if this is the sound you enjoy, you can do it. You know, like, the sound of this guy just playing the guitar is not unachievable at all. So I'll tell you guys what, right? So he's playing, what's his amp? He's playing 5150s on both head and the cab, right? So you can find that online. Like, there are cheap, like, or free online plugins that you can find that emulate that sound, because 5150 is like one of the most iconic sounds, right? Eddie Van Halen's, right? So there are some cabs and amps that you can find their stuff so cheaply online or for free. 5150 is one of them. Marshall JCD 2000 is one of them. Mesa Boogies are some of them. You know what I mean? So there are some amp sounds that there's like very, very cheap plugins or free plugins for them, right? And then Seymour Duncan 59s and JBs are so out there. Like, you can buy them secondhand really cheaply and just install it on your guitar, and you got that sound. So like, Dorothy, if you got like, say, I don't know, if you got a Chapman guitar that you might not like necessarily the sound of the pickup, that's like a home mod project right there for you. Yeah. Samanet, how are ya? Been a while. Samanet says, hey, Sorenzo, long time, man. How you doing? Hope things are well. Did you see Konami of Bandmate just got a second PRS signature based on the anime they helped with? It's pink. Yeah, I did. That was the first guitar we talked about on the stream. We talked about it. That was literally the first guitar we talked about on the stream. I'm a fan of Konami's. I really like Konami. And I was telling everybody like how she can actually play this stuff live and all that. But no, that was the first guitar we talked about on the stream. Thanks for pointing it out. Good to see you, man. How's everything? It's been a while. But yeah, Dorotio, like what I was saying is that like you got that home project. If you really want to do it, like you can just go in and like add those JBs and 59s to it, and it's a killer. Summon says, cool. It just dropped in. Yeah, it did. Summon, I don't think we checked it. Even Sweetwater still don't have them. So they literally just dropped in, and they're doing like 609 of them only, as a limited edition. Yeah. Dorotio says the PRS gang is I'm just an outcast. No, this one is not a PRS gang talk. It's more like a bandmate gang talk. Just for info, and I'm being genuine. Like I'm not cracking a joke here, Dorotio. So Bandmate, the Japanese rock band, and Konami, the guitar player, the lead guitar player and composer, they have a massive following and a very devoted following. Like the fans of the band really feel strongly about it. So like Summon and I think we know each other from the content related to Bandmate, not so much PRS. I think that community is a fan of PRS guitars too now, because Konami, the guitar lead, has a signature guitar, a core signature guitar, and now this SE. But yeah. Someone says Bandmate just finished up their European leg. They will be in the US in October. Really? Nice. Okay. Are you going? Did you buy any tickets, someone? I mean, I would bet you did, if I was to bet money on it. Dorotio says, you mentioned the home project. I was outside walking my dog. What did you mean by that? I was talking about, because you know how we said that the new Charvels are really pricey? And I said, look, I agree with you. What I said is that if you want to get that similar sound, you can do it very cheaply at home, and that can be your home project if you want. Because the pickups that are on that guitar, on that new Charvel, this one, right? The pickups on this are Seymour Duncan 59 and Seymour Duncan JB. And these pickups are available out there like in abundance. Like everywhere you go, they sell a JB and a 59, because these pickups are so iconic, right? And you can buy them very cheaply secondhand too. So what I was saying is that if you really dig the sound that you heard, that we were just listening to, you know, when we were playing the video of the Charvel demo, I said if you really dig that sound, and you want like something really close to it, you can get 5150 amps plug-in for free, something that emulates that for free or very cheaply. And then you can get a Seymour Duncan JB 59 second hand or first hand if you want, and do a home project on a guitar, mod your existing guitars. If there's a guitar you got that you think, you know, can take advantage of a bit of a mod, maybe it needs some new pickups in there, you can install these pickups on that guitar and get that exact sound without paying $2,800 for this guitar. Because I know how much you enjoy the 80s sound. I know how much you like it. But if you got a guitar that you like and you want to get the exact same sound out of this, you can do it. Seymour Duncan JBs and 59s are like popular, standard. They're out there. It's not something unique. And 5150 isn't something unique either. There's a whole lot of plugins that emulate the same sound. You don't even have to buy the amp anymore. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Saman said, not on sale yet. No dates announced. Talking about Bandmates Tour, by the way. But I'm planning on following them to all shows. Yes, we are devoted maniacs. Also, Miku got a second signature Zamitis. Oh, did she? Called the Starry Pigeon Circle? I didn't know that. I had no idea. Let's have a look. I didn't know she had a new signature. Miku. Zamitis. Let's have a look and see. Oh, wow. You're right. Starry Pigeons. And it was released this year? Oh, wow, wow, wow. Let's have a look. What do we have here? Let's see. Why isn't there a... I'm literally on Zamitis' website. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay. So it has the Zamitis Dragon Classic pickups with the old engravings and everything. Nice. Okay. Look at that. That looks really nice. That's detailed work right there. Like on the plate, on the guitar, on the bridge itself. Interesting. Huh, I didn't know. That's her first one? Oh, you're right. Look at that. No, I thought the first one didn't have any of these. I thought the first one only had the silver plate. I've seen her play it live all the time. I thought that was the first one. You're right. This is an old article. Where's the new one then? That's the one. Oh my goodness, that's the one. That looks even better. Look at that. Wow, $8,300. That's expensive, eh? How many pigeons were you able to find yourself? Ah, this is the pigeons they're talking about. Look at that. All right, hold on. Pause the music. Let's go to that video. Hold on. Let's do this. That looks super good. That guitar looks awesome. That's a lot of detailed work there, man. Wowzer. That looks awesome. Thanks for that, Summit. Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was out. I thought the first one that we saw, I thought that was a new one because I've seen Miku playing a single cut Zamitis that has the silver plate only. It didn't have the flower on the side. So there was another model then in 2021 that had the flower on the side, and now you have these ones. Interesting. Really interesting. Thanks for the suggestion. Thanks for the heads up. Dorotio says, I have those two SD pickups from an old guitar that I got from for my son about 17 years ago. Oh, well, there we go. Bang. So you already got that sound at home, dude. You already got that sound at home. That's good. Like, it's a nice feeling to know that you already got this stuff at home. Like, I'll probably got to do a little bit EQing and you'll get the exact same thing as that video, to be honest. If you really want it. Yeah. Someone says the fretboard is cool. I agree with you. You know what it reminded me of? That the fretboard on this guitar, it looks like a mix of Ibanez's Tree of Life with PRS birds. Like the Tree of Life, and then mix it with PRS birds, and then that's that's what it made me feel like. It looks fabulous. It looks beautiful. Like this guitar's aesthetic is just off the charts. Look at that. That's a beautiful guitar. Yeah. Someone says Miku does not skimp. She has about 30 Zamitis models. Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, well, there we go. She's probably their biggest Japanese artist. That looks awesome. That just looks, the guitar looks amazing good. What aesthetic, hey. So what do we have? So the body is a one-piece genuine mahogany, so either Cuban or Honduran. In all likelihood, Honduran. Neck is also mahogany. The neck profile has a C-carb. Fingerboard is ebony. 43 mil nuts, so a little wide. 24 medium frets. Go to tuners. What MGTs are what? Are they locking? 25-inch scale, 12-inch radius. So this is very Gibson-like in some ways. Zamitis Theory Pigeons, Miku Kobata custom pickups. 1 volume, 2 tone and 3-way lever. A black satin lacquer on it. And you have comes with a hard shell case. It's made in Japan and comes with 1046 strings off factory. Interesting. That looks fabulous. Just like a beautiful man. Like you appreciate these craftsmen. Like you might not agree with, like you might not like the guitar, you might not like the artist, but you gotta appreciate the craftsmanship that got put into this guitar. Yeah. So there we go. Someone says, good to see you. Have a nice night. See Bandmate when they come through. So good to see you, man. So good of you to jump on the stream. Take a good care of yourself. Yeah, come around more often, and I'll see you around. Enjoy the shows, by the way. I'm sure they're gonna announce the ticket, the dates soon, and hopefully can get your hand on some VIP package to see them, and yeah, have fun doing that. Have fun there. She also signed the back of every metal plate. Yeah, okay. She can't do that at this price range. They're probably not going to be selling hundreds of these, so she can't probably go in and do everything like in advance, like say for whatever limited batch that they produce these. Because $8,700, I think it was what, $8,500, $8,700. How much was it again? $8,400. Yeah, for $8,400, like you wouldn't be selling, like it's not a mass production kind of a thing. So. Anyways, so there we go. Here we got us. All right, shall we jump to the next item on the docket? I wanted to talk about this one. Okay, so this is for those of you who are interested in guitar maintenance. So if you want to do your guitar maintenance at home, you like to look after your guitar at home and all that. This one is for you. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna give you guys some guitar maintenance tips. So, I saw this article from Premium Guitar. I saw this article from Premium Guitar, and just like most articles that you read online about guitars, it was a complete baloney. It was garbage. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And I saw this. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to use this opportunity to spread some of my experience about like guitar maintenance and all that jazz. So I'll start with the kicker. So it's just a bunch of garbage. The guy's name is Danzig. We're going to remember that. We're not going to read it any. Like every time I'm going to approach this guy's articles, I'm going to have this article back on my mind. So talks about the importance of guitar setup. And then it says, don't fret the buzz. So the first thing it says, like fret buzz is like any ingredient. A little is all right. And then right off the bat, I got a problem with this. Guys. If you set up your guitar properly, ideally, you don't have to deal with much fret buzz. Right? There are different reasons why there's fret buzz on your guitar. For example, if your nut slots are cut too deeply and your strings are too close to the frets because the nut slot is cut too deeply, when you play the open strings, you're going to hear fret buzz. Okay? So the reason I said it is that there's different types of fret buzz. Fret buzz is not just one thing. Fret buzz is a result of a whole lot of things, like different things, right? So if the nut of the guitar is cut too deeply, when you play your open strings, however softly, you're going to hear some buzz. I don't care what anybody says. There is nothing good about that buzz. If you play open strings and your guitar buzzes, that's a big problem. Okay? So when our friend here in this garbage article says, oh, don't fret the buzz, a little is all right. If it's coming from the nut, it is not. I don't care what anybody says. If somebody says, guys, if you go to a guitar luthier or a guitar tech, you play open string and your guitar buzzes because the nut is cut too deep, and he's like, yeah, no, it's all right, a little is okay, go to a different person. He's screwing you over. Okay? I'm just like... So, fret buzz there's different reasons why fret buzz happens on the guitar. Now, sometimes the fret buzz happens when you hold the fret. You're playing the guitar, you hold the fret, and then you hear a buzz. And that buzz doesn't happen across all the frets, across all the strings. There are some specific frets that buzz, right? That is, in all likelihood, a fret leveling issue, right? So, unless you pleck your guitar. So, for those who don't know what a pleck is, a pleck machine essentially is a machine that, with laser precision, levels up your frets. The metal things on your guitar neck levels up the frets. But even that solution is not perfect. The point is that fret work, up until now at least, vast majority of fret work is humans actually leveling the frets. Like, you guys have seen me refret a guitar online, right? You get a leveling beam, and then you just go forward and backwards on your guitar frets like this, and you essentially level the neck first, and then you level the frets, right? If you have one specific fret that is buzzing, right, or like two or three or a few across different strings, across different frets, in all likelihood, that's a neck and fret leveling issue. Now, you can mask neck leveling issues with fret leveling. So this is how the process is, right? In short, if you can remove the guitar neck, you remove it, and then you use the truss rod adjustments to make your guitar neck level, so it's not arched one way or the other. There's no relief on the neck without the string. Then you level the neck, the fretboard itself, the wood. Once everything is nice and level and you cleaned up the fret slots and everything else, it's a long process. Once that is done, you install your frets, you hammer them in or you press them in, and then at the end, you level those frets too, right? Now, that leveling of those frets, as a human, you can only do it with a certain precision. Master luthiers, obviously do a better job at that than people that are beginners or less experienced. But even a master luthier can't do it perfectly. They can get it really close to perfect. The frets in Suhr guitars, in PRS private stock, in my good lord, what's the name of that brand? Music Man, Ernie Ball Music Man, American high-end stuff. Those fretworks are as perfect as possible. Music Man is insane, really good with their fretwork. I have a Kaizen guitar at home, and that it blows my mind how good that fretwork is. I'll never be able to do a fret job as good as that, right? So, but even then, it won't be perfect. A human is doing the job, or a bunch of humans are doing the job. Which means that those frets are going to be a little uneven, like it or not, right? So you even the frets, you level them, and then you crown them. And the process of crowning them, right, you might make some adjustments there that they might not be perfectly level and things of that nature. So that lack of leveling at really low actions, if you set up your guitar at a really low action, is going to result in a fret buzz, right? You might have some neck relief, right? So that's like when your neck is a little bowed. And then when you go to the middle, when the bow is the deepest, you press a fret and you might get a fret buzz sound. Long story short, man, when it says don't fret the buzz, that's not a good statement to make. Look, if you set up your action, if your guitar action is medium to mid-high or high action, so people like Yngwie Malmsteen, for example, have an extremely high guitar action, right? That masks some of the issues with the fretwork, or if there is like the relief is not done properly on the guitar neck, it can actually mask it. And conversely, if your action is super low, I'm talking about like 1.25 mils, like really low on the low E, right? Then it's natural to get fret buzz. Right? So these are all the considerations. Now, here's my opinion now. So far, everything I said was a statement of fact, as the best as I know it. This is opinion. If you play clean sounds, like if you play mostly clean tones, fret buzz is a problem. You don't want fret buzz when you're playing clean. It's only when you're playing distorted, when you add distortion, a little bit of, preamp, a little bit of distortion, a bit of overdrive, whatever is your cup of tea, right? That masks the fret buzz. So you can actually lower it. This is what I do in at least half of my guitars, right? The action is super low, insane low. And there's a little bit of fret buzz that I don't mind. But I can do that because I only use those guitars for distortion sounds, like distorted sounds. So everything is like, distortion. I only use them for that. And that distortion masks the fret buzz. Sometimes the fret buzz actually adds to that, adds to the coolness of the sound. Does that make sense? So don't fret the buzz is a bad statement. If the guitar is buzzing, you need to investigate it. And more often than not, that's not a good sign. Right? One last thing I'll say. And again, this article is genuinely garbage. I can't believe somebody put this nonsense up there. The guy doesn't have a clue. Whoever wrote this does not have a clue. He says one thing about the light touch. So he says, even sparkling clean sounds can sound better with a change of scenery, whatever. The more gain you employ, the lighter your touch can be. Fine. But one thing I'll say, instead of saying it that way, I'll say, see how you play the guitar. Is your touch light? Do you kill the guitar? Do you have it go at it? Do you wrestle with your guitar? Whatever is your natural playing style is, set up your guitar accordingly. What kind of sound do you want to get? Is it clean? If the sound is clean, forget about the buzz, man. If there's a buzz, there's a problem. Right? See what are the sounds you like. See how you play. Set up your guitar. And buzz ideally shouldn't be a part of it. So I just wanted to put it out there. So that was the first thing. And then another thing he says in the article, he says, do you gouge tone? So some string gouges seem to be continually hot topic. A set of 11s will feel tighter and stiffer than the 9s, and so on and so forth. And it says, don't worry, don't be afraid to try a lighter gouge. Fine. don't worry about trying a lighter gouge. Here's what he doesn't talk about. The lighter your gouge is, the brighter your string is going to sound like. So instead of 942 strings, sound brighter, higher treble, right? Than instead of 1152s or 1052s, right? So the lighter your string gouge is, the brighter it sounds like for the same tuning. The EQ is going to be a little different of the actual string sound. Okay? So, yes, the string gouge has to do with how stiff you want your strings be. Depends on your tuning, how low your tuning is, and so on and so forth. But if you go with a set of 1164s, 1152s, 942s, whatever, depending on, like, the thicker your string is, the less higher end frequencies you're going to get out of that guitar. Yeah. So I read this article and I'm like, let me share this knowledge with people because that article was garbage. Like, I cannot believe. Like, you could easily get, like, Premier Guitar or any other website could easily just get a master luthier or an experienced guitar tech and just interview them in a podcast style and then get the text of that and make the article. It's not hard. But here's the thing, man. If you go to a luthier, if you go to a guitar tech, and you don't like the buzzing on your guitar, and he goes like, don't fret the buzz, man. Like, you know what? Leave. Give your guitar to somebody else. On the other hand, if he says, look, your action is 125, it's really low, that's natural, even if the fretwork is perfect, it's going to have this and this and that. But if you bring it to 1.5, this thing goes away. The action is still mid-low. If he explains it, then that's a good thing. But if he's just like, whatever, nah, man. No, that's the deal breaker. Ay. Paul Ludwikowski. How are you, my man? Paul says, Joel Danzig has been building guitars since the 60s and has founded the first boutique guitar company, Hamer Guitars, in 1970. He's a master luthier. Okay, if a master luthier tells you, even if a master luthier tells you don't fret the buzz, that's a problem. I'm sorry. I'm literally not giving you, what do you call it? Like sound points, like sound bites. I'm literally giving you rationale. If he's a master luthier and he's putting these stuff there, I'm so sorry. That's not good. Okay? Like, I'm giving you rationale, literally. A fret buzz has different sources and can be a symptom of a problem. You can't categorically go on and say, hey, don't fret the buzz. No matter who says what, if a master luthier, if whoever, the god of master luthiers comes and says, hey, if, for example, the fret buzz coming out of the nut, just don't fret it, you're good, that's a problem. Okay? There's no other way around it. If you play open string and your fret buzz, and you get fret buzz or just buzz in your guitar because the nut slot is too shallow, that's a problem, my man. I don't care who says it. Find better master luthiers to interview. I'm sorry. Just like... Anyways. If there was a, what do you call it? If there was a billboard that could project what's going on in my mind and the statements that are just like the sentences that are going in my brain right now, it would have been hilarious. All right, I'm just going to leave it there. Ay. So clean All right, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. We respect Mr. Joel Danzig as an entrepreneur, musician, designer, luthier, and he's contributed his talents to all the other companies he has. And Hamer Guitars, we respect this gentleman. We don't talk shit about people. I'm just gonna leave it there, man. Yeah. Doroteo says, I use Elixir's 946 strings. Are those good? Look, Doroteo, haven't personally used Elixir myself. I think just once. From what I've heard and what I've read online of the reviews, they seem to be decent strings. I think Richard Shaw at some point was telling me that he used them and he liked them. I could be wrong. But long story short, I haven't actually personally tried those to tell you if they're good or not. I don't know. But from what I've read is that they're good. But let me ask it this way. Do you like them? Like, do they last long enough? Do you like the tone, the sound of them? Do they get rusty really quick? You know what I mean? Those are the things to think about. My personal favorite is D'Addario's NYXLs. So I currently use D'Addario NYXL. Am I using 1046s? I know I'm using 1052s. I'm using 1052s and one lighter gouge. I forgot. Give me a second. I'll tell you. All right. So I use the 1052s and I use the 9.5 44s. Yeah, these are the two that I use. And I've been using them for a very long time, and I love them. I mostly used to use 9.5 44s. It's really recently that I moved to 1052s because I just feel like it gives me a better tone. Especially like when I down tune, say, a step or a step and a half. You need that. But even like, I don't know, even for like a standard tuning, I'm starting, like, this is a very recent development in my playing. I've been really, really inclined to like go more towards a thicker string gouge. I don't know, maybe I like the sustain better, maybe I like the fatness better. But this is what I use. I actually bought a new, give me a second. I actually bought a new Kangaroo. Is this another? So I actually forgot, I forgot that I had this 1052 already. And then I think I bought a new one and it arrived, yesterday. I think this is also another 1052. Let's see. Yep, that's another 1052. I had one at home, and then I forgot that I had one on phone, and then I ordered another one, and Amazon just delivered it yesterday. Yeah, so that's what I use. But our Elixir is good. I've heard a lot of good things about them, but I've never personally tried them. So there we go. Boom. Hoorah. Doroteo says, Paul, were you born in... Oh, okay. Were you born in 67? And Paul says, no, I was born in 69. There was a lot of mention of 69 on the stream today. We had the PRS doing only 69 of them. Paul was born in 1969. Was the summer of 69. There we go. Alrighty. I've got one more guitar I wanted to share with you guys today before we wrap the stream up. And I saw this guitar coming out. I saw this maybe 2-3 days ago. In some lovely morning, I woke up and go through my guitar addiction. Guitar article and guitar news addiction. So I saw this 2-3 days ago. Check this out. So this, let me minimize myself a little, is the new Epiphone Alex Lifeson 1976 ES 355 reissue in Alpine White. And I thought this was a nice little good looking guitar. Check this out. So it comes with a five-piece maple neck. I'm sorry, my apologies. 5-ply maple poplar body with a solid center block. So it actually has a center block in there, with a 3-piece maple neck and a slim C profile. Ebony fretboard, T-type Gibson pickups, and it comes with a baritone and a Maestro Vibrola. It is an ES355 with a center block, right? Check this out. They didn't go with that headstock thingy, did they? They went with the open book headstock. Look at that. Right. Now, this logo, by the way, for those who don't know, so the Epiphone, Gibson, these two little things there, the little diamonds there, this essentially is the logo for a Gibson custom shop inspired Epiphone. So essentially they get these Epiphones and they put in a Gibson custom shop pickup in there. So it's like a higher end of an Epiphone essentially. And this guitar is one of those ones. I have one at home, not this one. Mine is a different guitar, but it's an Epiphone custom essentially. So Alex Lifeson says, needs no intro. He's playing help define the sound of progressive rock. And his Gibson ES355 now it has the Epiphone reissue. Check this out. Shall we listen to this? Let's check this out. Go back here. Let me give y'all a bit of volume. And rock and roll. Lift off. Boom. That's it. But anyways, I thought this was an interesting release for this week. The Gibson is doing more and more inspired by Gibson custom shop Epiphones. I think the new Futura series that they also released. So if you guys don't know, there was a release of this Epiphone series called Futura with a new Ignite Burstbucker pickups in them. They came in all different shapes. So they had the, Explorer, they had the V, they had the Les Paul and all that. And then shortly after that, there was also an Inspired by Custom Shop, if I'm not mistaken, release that had the Real Deal pickups in them. So they were doing more and more of these things as of late. So they're getting an Epiphone, releasing a higher tier of Epiphone, essentially. Why is the share screen so weird for you guys? Let me fix this for you, y'all. Sorry. I think I grabbed it from the previous stream. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's go through the specs together, shall we? So what do we have here? We have a multiplied top and back binding. Body material is a 5-ply maple poplar, semi-hollow with a center block. Right. We have an ebony fretboard, block inlays, Graphtec nut material. And Graphtec is pretty good, right? So Graphtec, the good thing about a Graphtec nut is that it has something like a Teflon-like material in there, so it's kind of self-lubricating on its own. Doesn't mean that you don't have to lubricate that nut slot as you go, like just for the strings to move in nicely in there. Most of the tuning issues people have, like tuning stability issues, is not from the tuners. It's from the nut. And so you want to make sure that the nut slots, the saddles, and everything is well lubricated. And GraphTech, usually when it at least comes out of factory, it has some Teflon-like stuff in there that is self-lubricating. So it allows for that nice movement of the strings there. If you want to lubricate your nut slots, by the way, you can just grab a pencil, literally a pencil, like has graphite in there, and just rub that pencil graphite in those slots, and that helps. There are some specific lubricating oils that are out there. Music Nomad sells some of them. I have one at home. I use the Music Nomad one, and it has like a thing that looks like a really tiny cotton tip, and you can use that to sort of like rub this stuff in the slots. I use that, but like a pencil graphite would do, like a pencil would do just fine. Like you don't need to buy something new to do that. I just did it because that's what, I just do things. But it's that GraphTech, pretty good. If it's well cut, I don't know. Again, different guitars are a little different, but if it's well cut, GraphTech is legit. The one good thing, another advantage, by the way, about GraphTech, comparing it with like organic material, like a bone nut, right? The advantage that synthetic materials like GraphTech have over organic material like bone nut is that bone, being a natural material, like biomaterial, right, is inconsistent. No bone is perfect. Ideally, what you want to have in your guitar nut is a consistent, unified texture, no holes, no pores, no weird grains, nothing like that. Unified, solid material in the guitar bone. In the guitar nut, in the guitar nut. You want that kind of a material that is unified, no pores, no holes, no inconsistencies. You want something solid and consistent. And so the advantage that synthetic material have over bone nuts is that consistency, because no bone is going to be ever perfect, right? So they've got that going for them. Now, if you really want to be true to tradition, if you want to go for a bone nut, a buffalo bone nut that is not bleached is my favorite. And buffalo bone nut because it's very dense and it's usually very nice and even, very unified. And if you buy an unbleached bone nut, whether it's normal cow bone nut or if it's like a buffalo bone nut, doesn't matter. If you buy a bone nut that is unbleached, it'll also be self-lubricating. Bleached bone nuts are not self-lubricating anymore because the process of bleaching takes the oil, the natural oil that is in the bone, away. But if you use an unbleached bone nut, it'll be self-lubricating too. So you don't need to lubricate it yourself as often. Again, as part of your guitar maintenance, ideally you should be lubricating it when you change your strings. Do a full clean up your fretboard, clean up whatever, look after the guitar. And then as you're putting the strings back, you can lubricate the nut slots too. At least when you're changing the strings, you can do that. And that's what I do. So that is that. 12-inch fretboard radius, set neck, not a surprise there, and a slim C profile. Hee-haw. Electronics. Gibson T-type bridge and neck pickups. 2 volume, 2 tones, not a surprise there, with a 3-way toggle selector. You got a harmonica Tunomatic bridge with die-cast tuning machines. You have a nice Maestro Vibrala as your tailpiece. This guitar comes out at 1046 with 1046 strings out of factory. And just like every other inspired by custom shop Epiphone, it comes with a very nice guitar case. And I know it for a fact because I have an inspired by Gibson Epiphone guitar at home. And man, that case is superb. This case is at the same par with the expensive American guitar cases. The case is awesome with this. So this is actually not a sales thing. Like when Gibson says this case is like high quality and awesome, that's actually true. I can speak from experience. If you ever buy a custom inspired by custom shop Epiphone, you'll be impressed with how well the guitar case is. Super good, amazing, yeah. So really, really nice. So there you have it, folks. That's the latest guitar I wanted to share with y'all today. I think we did really good. We went like, what, 2 hours, 20 minutes on the stream? We killed it. All right, what do we have over chat? I don't want to miss out on any chat. Any final thoughts, gossips, anything y'all want to talk about? Pause the music. What are we playing music here for? Pause it. Any final words before we wrap it up, y'all? Because if not, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop another can and drink it to you guys' health. Guys, let me open this. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. All of you guys. So Dorotio, Paul, Summon, Zuhair, Yokilla, congratulations again on the amazing news about the missus's cancer treatment going well. That's such a weight off your shoulder. Like, I'm so happy to hear that, dude. Having gone through something similar with one of our close relatives. So I understand the pain with it, and I'm so happy for you, dude. I'm so happy for you. Guys, if you watched it, you didn't chat again. I don't know your names because you didn't put anything in the chat. But you too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, guys. Let me drink this to your health. Hoorah. Hoorah indeed. Guys, what more can I say? As always, I say it at the end of every stream. Life is short. You do not know when the curtain closes. We don't know, do we? So, if you got a loved one, hug him tight today. Tell him you love him. If you like playing the guitar, selfishly, an hour or two a day is for you. Pick up the guitar, practice it. Because as a man, you got responsibilities. You got a family to look after. You got other people to put ahead of you. That's a reality of being a man. But do what you can to an hour a day, a couple hours a day for you. To play the guitar, do what you love. Do what you love. My friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Stay safe, stay healthy. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next stream, in the next video. Take a good care of yourselves. What more can I say? Mwah! Love you guys. Take care.